familia, Miranda here, and welcome to another episode of First Viewing, where I share my thoughts and recommendations with you guys on films that I watched for the very first time. So we're just gonna go on ahead and get right on into things. Alright, so first up, I did check out Doc Hollywood, and I gotta say, I freaking enjoyed this one, you guys. It's a great little comedy, got a little bit of romance tied in and stuff, but I mean, you got Michael J. Fox, so you know it's already gonna be a banger. I just definitely had some fun with this one, you guys. There's just lots of just great comedy and great punchlines in this film. The storyline, I will say, is a little bit predictable, but I mean, that doesn't like take away from it or anything like that. It is just a fun little flick, and so if you haven't seen this one, you definitely should check it out. Like I said, Michael J. Fox in this is great, and there's just some very funny scenes in this. All right, so next up is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, you guys. Now, despite this film being based on a very tragic time in history, it is a very beautiful, very powerful film. And basically, this is the story of like the Holocaust, but being told through the eyes of a child, basically on both barriers. And just the way these two boys, you know, so innocent and not knowing anything about what's going on, just, you know, became friends and formed this bond and stuff like that. And yeah, it was just, it's a very sad watch, you guys. Like, it is a heartbreaking film for sure. Honestly, the majority of this film, like, my heart was just, it sunk, you guys. And after watching this, you definitely need a pick-me-up kind of film to, you know, kind of get past it, because those last 15 minutes, you guys, like, the way the story works to get to the end, you know that one moment is coming, but when it actually happens, it just kind of leaves you speechless. And yeah, so it's definitely a super heartbreaking film, but it is so well done. And I just love how the story is told through these two boys and their friendship. And like I said, just the innocence and like the children during that time, they knew nothing about what was going on. I mean, they just had to go along with things. Some of them lost their parents and all of that, and just no clue what was happening. And so yeah, this is it's beautiful, it's powerful, but it's so heartbreaking, guys. But excellent film, but not an easy one to watch. All right, next up is this film called Remote. Now, several people were telling me that this gave them Home Alone vibes, and I definitely can see that, but it wasn't as good as Home Alone. And I thought this film was just okay. Didn't really leave me wowed or anything like that. I mean, sure, it's a fun film. You basically have this kid. He's like obsessed with all these little like, you know, remote control toys that he has and whatnot. He gets into some trouble at school, and so he basically, his mom wants to take away the toys, so he goes and stashes them in this empty house. And so there's these thieves that are on the run, and so they end up hiding out in that house. And so it's basically him messing around with them, trying to get them out, you know, and stuff. So with his toys and whatnot. So I mean, it was all right. Took a little bit to get up to that moment when, you know, when the thieves come into the story, really. But I mean, overall, it's a decent, fun little watch. All right, so now we have Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I know, just getting around to this one. And you guys, I did really enjoy this. I personally think it is a brilliant film. It is just a perfect depiction of a bad breakup, which I'm sure many of us have been through. I know I have. And so, yeah, you guys, honestly, though, it was a bit more on the depressing side. Yes, it has its funny moments, but it was a little bit of a downer to me. But in all honesty, though, I definitely think that this is a film that you could watch after you have broken up with somebody, like a bad breakup, and be okay, like in the days to come and stuff. Because I really think that this could help anybody, you know, defeat a bad breakup and stuff like that. Jim and Kate, they were both excellent in this. It was really nice to see Jim Carrey in a more serious role, because I mean, obviously he has more comedic roles than anything, but yeah, he was really great in this, and definitely has some funny moments for sure, like Baby Joel. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Kate Winslet's character in here, she's just very fun and a bit on the odd side, but you guys, like I said, this is just a really great film, brilliantly done. And I mean, after bad breakup, we all just kind of reminisce on the memories, the good and the bad, and you know, obviously the bad, we kind of need to take those in so we can kind of realize like why, you know, we're not together anymore, stuff like that. And so yeah, this, like I said, is just a great depiction of a bad breakup, and I definitely think that this could help anybody get through one if, you know, they're going through that. So but yeah, I highly recommend this one. All right, next up is Molly's Game. I thoroughly enjoyed this one, you guys. I haven't seen Jessica Chastain in too many roles, but this by far is my favorite of hers. She was just phenomenal in this, and I actually really enjoyed her chemistry with Idris Elba, who played her lawyer. But yeah, obviously it has to do with poker, her coming through it with this, like, her own underground poker type thing and stuff, and so it was actually really very interesting. I was super invested into this film. It was kind of intense at times, to be honest, and yeah, I just thought this was really dang good. I feel like I actually learned a lot about poker from this. I mean, you got some poker terminology, you got like certain plays going on, but it's not even just about that. It also kind of shows you like, you know, the addiction to gambling and stuff like that. And so, I mean, there's definitely certain elements to this film and like a bunch of layers to this film that just really helped make it. And I just thought it was a very interesting story for sure. Like, it is based on a true story, so this really did happen and everything. So I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed this one and would recommend you check it out. All right, next up is Forever My Girl. So this film, it's funny because I actually started watching this back in December when I was in Mexico. It was on TV, and I think I got maybe like halfway through, and then we had to leave and go somewhere, so I didn't get to finish watching it. So I did track down a copy so that I could actually finish it. And I mean, I was super into it then, and so yeah, finally watching it all the way through. I mean, it's a solid movie, you guys, a solid love story. But basically you have this guy here, he leaves her at the altar to go off and do his music career, but I guess it's not really the real reason why he left her or whatever. But basically some years pass, something brings him back to his hometown, and so they basically, you know, rekindle their relationship and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this for what it is, and yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent little romance flick. All right, Renfield. So I guess this is one of those films that you either love it, you like it, or you hate it. And I will be honest, you guys, I mean, I liked it for what it is, but I honestly didn't really love this film, but it wasn't bad either. It's definitely super cheesy at times, and obviously the whole gore in here, like the blood splatters, all that, I mean, I enjoyed that aspect of it, and but just, I don't know, these kills were just so like overly exaggerated, and I don't know. But definitely here, I think that Nicholas Hoult, he stole the show. Awkwafina's pretty good too, but yeah, him playing Renfield, I thought that he was fantastic. I will say though, Cage, I kind of expected more from him as Dracula, and I personally didn't really care for him much in this film. Don't hate me, you guys, but yeah, Cage was all right, but I just kind of wanted more, I guess, from the Dracula character. But Renfield, he was awesome, and yeah, like I said, this is just, there's some cheesy, crazy kills in here that are just like way over the top, and the gore too is just, it's funny to be honest. But it's definitely a fun film to watch. I would definitely watch it again, just not, you know, like quite frequently. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this film. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? All right, next up we have Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, which I guess you could kind of consider this a more modern film noir, if you will. I mean, it is from 1982. And I will say though, this film, it's rated PG, but there are a lot of like actually like sexual references in this film that they kind of try and turn into like jokes and stuff like that, or just corny lines, you know? So, I mean, I really wouldn't consider watching this with like children or anything like that. But overall, I thought it was a fun watch. It is actually pretty funny. There was some pretty great moments in here, and just some very cheesy, catchy lines and stuff. And Steve Martin, I thought that he was really funny in this, you guys. I really enjoyed his character in here and stuff. He is like the main character, but he also kind of like narrates the story, so he's kind of retelling what's happened and everything like that. So I mean, that was kind of you know, cool. But yeah, overall I enjoyed this one. It was a fun watch, so I would say definitely check it out. All right, next one I have here is this film called We Belong Together. This one actually came from Dollar Tree. It was a solid thriller, you guys. It's basically kind of similar to, say, like Obsessed or Swim Fan. It's basically one of those kind of obsession flicks. College professor, student, she falls for him, and she ends up being this like total psycho who's overly jealous and stuff like that. And so she, you know, gets to him like personally and stuff like that. And so yeah, but it doesn't compare to, you know, like I said, Obsessed or Swim Fan, anything like that. But it was solid, you guys. For me personally though, I'd say that it's a one and done, but you know, if you're into the whole thrillers and kind of obsessive type relationships and stuff, I mean, this might be a good one for you. All right, so next one I have here is Nancy Drew. Yes, I did watch this. Can't say that I actually watched the show growing up or anything like that, but Emma Roberts as Nancy Drew. I thought that she was pretty good in this role, to be honest. Fun little family flick for sure. Just a great little kind of like mystery, adventure mystery type thing. I mean, certain things in here were a little bit predictable, but overall it's a fun one to watch. Has its moments that are funny and stuff, and so yeah, I would definitely check this out like with your kiddos or whatever, because it is a pretty fun little storyline. All right, and last but not least, we have Mr. Troop Mom. This one I thought was actually pretty decent as well. Another great one, like for the family. I mean, it is a bit on the cheesy side. Doesn't really scream. Like I was thinking it was gonna be like full-blown kind of like Girl Scout type stuff, but it's not necessarily that. Basically, the dad, he has to take over his daughter's group, whatever they are, Girl Scouts, if that's what you want to call them, because the mom that was supposed to be, you know, taking them to this like event, she ended up, you know, going into labor and stuff like that, and so he stepped in. And it basically is they go to this camp and they have this like competition thing and whatnot, and so that's basically what this is. It definitely has some fun moments for sure. There's some pretty good comedy in here, especially coming from George Lopez there, but it's also a very kind of heartwarming film. But yeah, it's a fun little family watch, so I would definitely check this one out too with your kiddos. So that is it for today's episode of First Viewing. Let me know if you guys have seen any of these films and your thoughts on them. I would love to hear. So thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the family if you have not, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.